perfectly on time as well. Now it says going live. Now it takes more time, and now you're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Külapood. This time from our homes again. I'm still Carl, and let's do the official opening for this. Official, no sponsorship still, but hey. So
what flavor is the red flavor?
This is it's just punch. It's mixed. It tastes like bubble gum.
It's just red.
It's just so like the Külapood shopkeep who is slowly swimming in the currents of time and trying to reach the shores of destiny, and slowly sees the gunboats approaching to get the illegal immigrant out of the water.
Yeah, fuck him. Yes.
That was how it is in Australia.
We're talking about me. Yeah. Oh, well, sorry, not me. All those other immigrants.
That's the way how the show starts. Now that was my analogy of how Australia deals with immigrants. Is the gunships in the water and people just get pulled up by a net.
Just throwing them out, just get them off. We would have Sadama. That would just be like an island where we'll put some immigrants.
There's a camp. Not a lot of camps, just one camp. It's a big
just one camp.
But hello, yes, my name is Carl. I'm still me, and in his own home, still, it's my co-star Ardo Asperk.
Hey.
And this time the guest is the founder of Comedy Estonia and also a comedian,
the Godfather,
and also technically my boss. So. At this point, I would also like to say congratulations on winning the game today. It's my good friend Louis Zezeran. Woo!
Hey, hi everyone. Hey, in case you haven't seen enough of me every Friday afternoon with Scylla, here I am on a Monday as well, giving you some days in the middle. Otherwise, it's Louis overload. Nobody needs that.
It's good to see you doing something else with some men as well, and.
Sure, bro. Sure. Cool. Yeah, happy to do that stuff with you men.
One guy in the chat who's like, do some more stuff with guys.
Yeah, fuck. He doesn't know what he doesn't know what he hates more, doing with the women or doing with men. Like, don't know any of it.
I saw you because Louis has a podcast. Besides starting Comedy Estonia, doing stand-up, running the day-to-day and stuff, he also has a podcast called Comedy Guy with Louis Zezeran, pretty much. But I think it's Comedy Guy with, and then you have the name of the guest.
I change it. There's no direct thing. It's kind of just Comedy Guy with Louis Zezeran, but if I like whoever's on, we'll change it. We'll adapt it. It's branding, Carl. You can just change the logo. You keep the main part.
No, it's Külapood. It's like this forever and always has been. No changes in Külapood.
No, you've already done it. Your Kodus, your Kodus Külapood. Ha ha. You have changed it. So yeah, Comedy Guy is my podcast. I'm talking to people. Actually, tomorrow I'm doing my first Zoom tomorrow as well. And I'm talking to Mr. Joe Egan, who is a Canadian comedian who lives in Sweden. And Joe, 10 years ago, was our very first headliner. The Tartu Comedy Festival, as we called it back then, 2 nights. And Joe was our very first headliner. And Joe basically thinks that Estonia is paradise and just God's gift to him, I think. Because we did those first shows and it was like 2 nights in Vilda. We were very fortunate that a lot of people came. This is 2010 student days. And it was kind of a new thing. And, we would go out afterwards and just the attention that was on Joe, he'd never experienced that before. We're in Mokka, we're buying drinks. People are very enthusiastic. We're very thankful that people were so cool to us. And like you guys know, if you're a fucking comedian in any other country, you do open mics for 2 people for years. And you do it for 5 people.
And I know,
and then all of a sudden, guy comes here and he's like headliner for 300 people. And Joe thinks this is the promised land. And I kind of had to tell Joe, like, Joe, it's not always like that. Be like, no, Estonia is great. We're going to have Sparta and fire up. So we'll see how old Joe goes tomorrow.
Yeah, because Joe's the kind of guy who'll hustle at a door, like get people in and he'll do whatever, right? And then suddenly all the people show up, and he like it's great because I've seen him do stuff as well, and he's a very special person in a good way. I mean that in the best way possible. He's cool.
Yeah,
He is
I respect the guy who wants to do Spartas,
Yeah.
I know.
Many
There's
a foreign
many
comedian have fallen prey to the Sparta.
Exactly. Like when we go to Edinburgh all the time, you see someone who's been to Estonia, I swear to God, the first thing they're like, Sparta.
Sparta's done so much damage to everybody we've ever had over pretty much, because I as well, if I'm involved in that, I will get them to Mökku and I will get a Sparta in someone. I remember we've had to apologize to Mökku for comedians vomiting into the room. And names, you would be surprised. So yeah, people, sort of comedians not making it to the hotel rooms. Just
who it was? What's his name from Denmark? James, the cool guy. Anyway, and he was staying at the old Turtlesex Backpackers, which is right next to the Kissing Students restaurant. And he got walked to the door, still couldn't find the place 2 meters from the door, walked around for another hour, went and bought his own hotel room up the street at the Hansa Hotel.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was there. I remember I took him to the door, and I was like, "This is the I was staying there as well. Are you gonna come up?" And you're like, "I'll have a walk." Okay, like he seemed decent enough, like to have a walk and come back. He never came back.
Arto's been the death of so many visiting comedians.
I remember like one time I found a British comedian sleeping in the hallway, like on the stairs, and I thought I'd be a good guy, I'll help him to his room. And I helped him up to the hostel. I opened the door to his room, and then I left. And then the next day I found out that he was right on the door of his room. He turned around, started wandering around, went into women's rooms, puked everywhere, and also pissed everywhere. So no good deed goes unpunished, I guess.
There is a class act.
That's what we do. You want to perform in Estonia? That's what you have to do.
That's how it got to go. And now we're doing, I mean, if we ever again can have comedians here, we started to do Tartu on Friday night, so we could just like the last show, so we could formalize it. Like, because then the problem is you got to get up the next day and you've had 17 Spartas and it's like, time for another show, guys. Not good.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, because then you had the other days, because Tartu was like day 2 on the tour, and then you had like 2 more, and usually
still got to get to Tallinn usually after that, and then Helsinki, and like
it was Riga was like a little bit of a party because it's nice, you just met the person, you get to know them, have a couple of drinks, but you still go to a decent, like you don't stay up all night, you still go and have a nice decent sleep. And then Tartu just destroys you. And the Tallinn night, everybody's like, and the comedians in Tallinn like, hey, I'd like to meet you, and the comedians are like, no, I just let's no social, please. I just want to go to my hotel room and cry. I mean, the
plan would work great because the final night was Helsinki, and we were all hungover and dirty and tired. But that stopped us buying expensive Finnish alcohol, so it was all part of the plan.
Good times. I'm looking forward to when we can actually do shows again. That would be great.
Yeah, soon. We're hoping very soon. I have a feeling like after Midsummer, I reckon there's going to be a way that we can construct an outdoor show somehow.
Yeah.
Now there's still a lot of variables. There's still going to be a lot of personal responsibility of people involved, but I have a feeling somewhere around that period of time, we're going to work it out. Now, when does internal shows happen? Fuck knows, but we're praying for that May heat wave, which we've been hearing about. Maybe that will be the God save of stand-up comedy in Estonia.
Well, but the hope is as well that we'll see how, once the regulations go easier, we'll see how that actually affects the people and how people start behaving and acting if we go back into lockdown, or if it actually then can stay open, right? It's still, from a planning perspective, it's very annoying because I've been doing, for example, the summer tour planning today as well, and talking to venues and trying to get something set, but nobody really knows what's going to happen. So it's all like, all the conversations start. So if by this date, maybe we're allowed something, in that case, perhaps we could think of doing something.
Yeah. I think people are ready to go right now. I mean, I bet there's 1,000 people in Sportland right now.
Yeah. You walk around Prisma, you wouldn't know. Motherfuckers are bumping into one another.
Yeah.
And like, it seems like regular shit in the shopping mall.
Yeah.
I think it's not. I don't predict there's going to be some great fear of people meeting again. Like, oh, maybe they'll stay away from all the shows. If we have a nice, easy summer, maybe some outdoor where people can police themselves for a little bit. I think people are itching for it, and people don't give a fuck. They're like, "Fuck you, Yuri Ratas, keeping us inside." I've been watching those Trump memes in the lockdown. People are getting all fired up about that stuff. Yeah. It's gonna be
injecting themselves with like bleach.
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with Trump. They just heard Yuri Ratas talk, and they're like, no, make it stop.
Yeah, it's an interesting time. It's the old Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times, right? It's every day is interesting because you never know what the next thing is going to be.
We're all going to be fine. We're getting there. Like we've been talking about, we've been trying to work out. You know, we can't go to parties anymore. That's how we used to make some of our income, was to go to parties and do stand-up at events and stuff like that. Now, obviously, we can't do that. So we've already adapted. You've been doing online shows, Carl. We're doing the talks online. We've got a few customers who want their own version of Külapood for their own company.
But with less animal genitalia. So a slight percentage less.
On for this
maybe it's Talon Zoo who wants to, book us or something. In that case, I think the animal genitalia works for our benefit.
Me and Turovsky just, hammering it up.
Dick measuring contest between you and Turovsky about who knows more about animal dicks.
Yeah, we don't get ours out. We talk about different animals' genitalia. Exactly.
The winner. It's a winner. So yeah, we've been, we're adapting, right? We can adapt. We're all adapting.
Yeah, in a way, like I feel for me, the adapting has been somewhat easier because I've lived most of my life online. Like voice people are discovering voice chat and things, and I used to raid lead for years and do guild management for hundreds of people by just voice chat when I was 15, right? So the past 15 years or so have just been one training scenario for this situation. So it's been natural for me to go over to whatever the new norm is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but when it all started, I'll talk about comedy later on as well. But I'm interested because it's still lockdown for a while. Because you went to Japan when this whole stuff started. I don't know how much you've talked about it, but how was the general atmosphere in other parts of the world when this was going on? And well, we weren't in lockdown yet, but this was just like weeks beforehand.
No, it was in February, that I was there. And then actually I went to Germany for a couple of days doing a job straight after. Japan in Japan, they wear masks all the time anyway. Yeah. So, and I had always, I've been there a few times before and I tried to wear masks. I'm like, no, don't like this thing on my face. But, you're there and you want to try kooky shit that they do. So this time I actually forced myself to wear a mask. I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to wear the mask. And then I got back here and I'm like, I learned a really valuable life skill. I didn't know how useful that skill would be coming up, that I'm now totally comfortable with a mask. I can walk around with it. Doesn't bother my nose, affect my face. Yeah. They're in total denial. And they were, I think they were in, Japan was in total denial because they still hadn't canceled the Olympics.
Okay.
So they were still doing something. No, it's great. Olympics is going to happen in July. It's going to be great. Don't worry about it. And
you've beat the rush being here. It's all cool.
Yeah, they really fucked that up. And then it was like magically after they called off the Olympics, then it was like, oh yeah, wow, look at those corona statistics. Who would have thought?
It's everywhere, man.
Yeah, geez, it just popped up like overnight, weirdly. And there's one regret that I had in my time there, because when I was there, it was as you said, Carl, it was still the early days, but that ship was in the harbor. I think that was the Diamond Princess.
Yeah.
And we really all hadn't put two and two together. We were like, yo, there's this Walking Dead ship full of zombie people parked out in the harbor, but it still hadn't kind of dawned on the whole world. Like, that was it. Yeah. And it wasn't till the final day. My friend was like, I was talking to a guy at a bar, and he's like, yo, you can just go down. It's like 40 minutes south. You just go down to that suburb, and you can see the ship. And I'm like, oh, I didn't get Corona selfie. Now, that was before we all got Corona. But I was like, oh, that would have been a tourist attraction to see the
think
boat.
About it. You could have done a podcast with one of the people on the boat.
Oh, run a wire across or something. Yeah, like talk to them about it.
But... So how's it going over there? I'm dying, Louis.
Yeah, suddenly the Japanese
people. I love that. According to Ardo, that ship's full of old Jewish men. I'm dying over here. Hey, what do you think, guy?
I don't know what's the demographic for going on cruises.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Because for me as well, I was in Saaremaa when the whole thing kicked off there. I was doing a private there, and I took the ferry and came back, and then I realized, I didn't get it, but I was like, oh. Well, I dodged the bullet there.
You got off the island quick, smart.
Yeah. Thank God you're not a volleyball fan.
Yeah. Or that I had to do the private of the volleyball match.
Yeah, I don't think there's looking at Karl, there's any risk that he's a volleyball fan.
I mean, I can look at it. It's not like you don't have to be able to play the sport well to enjoy something. That's
true. Yeah. True that.
I mean, volleyball players have very nice costumes. I mean, let's move on. Did you do any panic buying, by the way, when this started here? Was there anything you bought that you would...
Do toilet paper. It's in the blood of my people. I am Australian, and I was just quickly checking chat, like, why are we not speaking Estonian? I know. I'm honored that you think that I look Estonian enough that you might assume that we should be speaking Estonian. You know, that maybe there's some guy, I don't know, like, I didn't realize I'd blend in that well. You see some guy, maybe he's more dark skin, maybe he's Asian, you're like, clearly not Estonian. Of course, that's why we're speaking English. I'm honored that somebody thinks that we should be speaking Estonian. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I am Australian, though, and it is the way of my people that we love panic buying toilet paper. Oh, we love it. We go to the supermarket, we're hoarding, we're pushing, we're flying elbows out of the way. So I couldn't help it. I had about 45 rolls at one stage. I've worked out my toilet paper burn rate, so to speak, poop rate, to know how long that's going to last. I'm still good for a few more months, but I had to stock up.
I was.
Did your parents call you like, do you have enough toilet paper?
Can we send some? I'm like, oh, they don't have any either because everybody's panic buying it in Australia.
Were you thinking of sending some to your parents, perhaps? Like,
as a gift.
Like, is there any toilet paper left in Estonia? Could you send us some, please?
Right, and that's the great thing because in Australia has enough. Like, we have enough trees. Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, Australia, big country, big country. With a lot of desert, but also a lot of trees. We could basically make our own toilet paper for the next 50 years. There's no shortage of trees which we can wipe our bum on. Nevertheless, as soon as that toilet paper starts going, oh, we love it. We're in there buying it straight away. It was the way of my people.
I remember there was one Australian newspaper. I think they're mostly the humor newspaper, and they printed extra pages during that week when it started, sort of for the people. So, just blank pages, like, you'll need these.
But we got to do it. But speaking of the way of my people, just yesterday, finally, Bauhof came through with the goods, and I got myself a grill. It's a gas grill. I got one of those big ass 11 kilo cylinders. That's going to last me for like years. But I was like, give me the big cylinder. I want the big gas cylinder. Plenty of gas. I don't want that measly small one. You know, there's those portable barbecue gas cylinders. They're only about that big and like fat and chunky, like a jockey, like a short, fat guy, right? I'm like, nah, I want the big one. I got my grill. I assembled it. I made meat on it. It was onions, like soul food. I haven't. Oh my God! And I'm not even like, it's been like years since I cooked a grill like that. But it felt good to be one with my people again.
It was a bit rainy when you were doing it, I think, but you didn't Was that a new experience? Grilling in the rain.
I'm like, why is it cold?
Yeah,
like,
why is the meat wet?
Yeah, like it's almost like, I mean, I got my thongs, which you call flip-flops, not my thong, because otherwise how would I put on multiple women's panties? Well, nevertheless, I put on my shorts.
Very possible, Louis.
I had my t-shirt, I had my flip-flops. My girlfriend she's freezing her ass off. She's like, it's fucking cold. I can't feel it. I've got the protective layer of my Australianness with my thongs. It's all that I need. I'm grilling.
I think
I
the
got
enthusiasm was warmth enough.
And when I was assembling it on my, because this place that I've got has got a nice deck that kind of looks out over our little car park in the building.
That you've told me you go and flash people on when you get out of the sauna.
Well, that's the first thing. You get out of the sauna and be like, what? We're in Estonia. What? I'm fucking naked. What? Yeah. And I'm there. It's the middle of the day yesterday. I'm assembling my grill, putting it together, and I'm on the balcony. And then this neighbor is walking by, never spoken to this man before. And he looks up at me and he's like, oh, no, Dede. And I look down and I'm like, hi, isn't it a great day we're having? And you just see this guy, the fear that comes over his face. He's like, oh, yes, weather very nice today. And then we just drop to silence. And I'm like, okay, have a good day, sir. Enjoy. He's like, yes, enjoy. Nice guy.
Like, so what bring you to Estonia?
This grill.
Yeah, automatically. He didn't know he wanted to say it. He went to Kinnisvara to like a property real estate page after that. And like, let's moving to Tartu. Okay, that sounds like a good idea. Okay, cool. So they have been grilling and stuff. How else have you been sort of, now that we don't have any shows, how else have you been filling the time? Because I know you
podcasts. Sorry?
I know you do background work, sort of managing everything and keeping everything together, but sort of there is still, I guess, a bit more time now that we don't have
I think
shows.
That's very pleasant of you, Karl, as a comedian, that the running of a startup company that has 4 employees besides all the comedians is just a background thing that gets done. Running a startup company with 4 employees, trying to grow that, keep the finances going, keep everyone motivated and switched on. And it's just a small
well, the background is important
thing.
For everything.
That I do in my spare
Karl.
time.
You're fired.
There's still we've been using that time still working on things that like we never would have. Like we worked on our web shop a bit. Hint. You can buy
here.
Did we mention you can buy Ardo Asperk special? And we made because before this you couldn't. Our web shop was so ghetto that if you bought Ardo's file, you didn't get it automatically. Like we had to get the order, and then one of us Hella had to forward you that email because we have this kind of shitty web shop system. So we worked on a thing, and together we came up with a system. So now, if you buy it, you get the file, the download automatically.
Yeah.
So there was some stuff working on the web shop. A lot of stuff with moving Sanders' tour into autumn. Because it's like it's going to be in May. We're going to do it in May. Hey, now we're going to do it in June. Let's do it in June. June's good. Now we're doing it in September. Yeah. So a lot of that. It's not very. Besides all that stuff, it's not very exciting. But I've been reading a lot. I know it's weird.
That's good. I do. I occasionally do some reading sometimes.
Yeah.
What like fiction or like I don't know.
Yeah, what have you been
biographies of successful people?
This is very unfunny, not very funny and kind of boring, but I've been reading a lot of stuff about Stoic philosophy.
Okay.
And all these ancient Roman dudes who are like well into it, because it's really helped me when you're looking and you're realizing everything's gone to shit and all the money's going from the bank account and how is all this going to go? It's listening to these ancient philosophers and their ideas has really helped me just like chill the fuck out. You can't control it. Don't worry about it. Just do the right thing, and that's all you can do. And if you're fucked, well, it doesn't matter. You did the right thing.
Yeah.
So I've been reading a lot, taking that time, reading more. And as I read more about ancient Rome as well, the more I realize it's the same shit that we're going through. So one of the main Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, they had like a 15-year plague, killed millions of motherfuckers back then. And like it was the same stuff. Rome didn't have the technology, obviously, but their society was like economics and shit was actually like pretty advanced. The way they structured society, pretty advanced. Still had slaves, so like, not everything was fucking perfect. But
even different types of slaves, so
Yeah, you know. Which ones are gonna be?
Sometimes you can choose to become a slave as well for a while if you didn't want to if you didn't have money to pay a debt, you could just do some hard labor,
work it off, and now that's what we have Remy for these days.
Exactly, pretty much. Now, in a way, we still have the same slavery. We just don't call it because then if you need the money, you just take a shitty job that you don't like and you hate, and you still work that, and you get the basic amount to survive and pay whatever debt you have. Still slavery.
Carl, what are you trying to say about your job with Comedy Estonia, man?
I thought this is me trying to get back into being fired already once. I try to get my job back.
So yeah, listening to this, like it's all this, like listening to the ways that there's an emperor and there's rich people who are the senators or basically the politicians, and there's fucking sex and there's craziness and there's debauchery and there's sloth and people like it's helped me understand. It was 2,000 years ago. We're the same. We're the same idiots that we've always been, because you can watch the Trump and the right-wing stuff and this thing's coming and you can think like, the end of the world is coming. We're all going to shit. We're all like, it's made me understand like, nah, we've done this before. We've fucked the world up for ourselves before. It's okay.
History is cyclical.
We'll survive.
It all comes again, and then there'll be a period when it's going back up, and then it's just it's the same. It just keeps coming.
Stop reading the news.
Yeah. We used to be like during Roman times, ancient Greek times, we like made sculptures and shit. We knew a lot of stuff, but it didn't go like straight uphill all the time. Then we had the Dark Ages, and then we were like raped by Vikings for like 200 years. So kind of comes and goes.
There were some good times in there.
History gives and mostly takes, but it's there's something good in there somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're gonna be.
I remember what one time you said to me about Facebook. Like, I think Facebook is like kind of fading away, like the Roman Empire once did. It didn't happen like overnight, but it just gradually lost importance. And I was like, wow, that's a history lesson right there.
Dropping those history bombs. If I could delete my Facebook account, I think I would. I have no use for that. Like, Messenger, you got to talk, and part of the Comedy Estonia job, with events and connecting with people. But as a thing that I want to use, I'm like,
I pretty much only use it for work-related stuff as well.
Yes, because like if everybody uses it, like you have to, you can't like not use it altogether because.
Right. I mean, we still connect as comedians on there, but I think the way, one of the ways that Facebook hangs on is because like Twitter kind of split off just text updates, and that's what Twitter became. And then Instagram, like these services sort of picking off the bits and pieces that Facebook does. So Instagram picks off pictures. It says we're just going to do pictures, and that's all we do. And the difficulty for us as comedians is that no one has been successful in picking off events. I think because you need a certain mass, like you need a massive amount of people to make event social media work. Like if it's just Instagram, cool, I don't give a fuck. I got 5 people follow me. It doesn't bother me. I'm just showing you my pictures. But to make events work, like Facebook events or something that we might need as Comedy Estonia, you need that mass of people. And there are certainly I don't know, what are all these? There are certainly other ways, event apps and stuff, and people are connecting and different services for events, but none of them have taken over. And I think it's because of that mass is on Facebook. So for us in a foreseeable future, we'll still be using Facebook for events. I don't know how that changes, but I think it's extremely hard to split events off from such a massive core.
I also feel Facebook, because as you said, like Twitter is, short text, it focuses, Instagram is pictures, YouTube is videos. Facebook is an amalgamation of everything, right? Because most of the things you can say also upload this to Facebook, right? So then you'll have a collection, and if you're running events or whatever, it's a good place to have that, well, all the collection of the things you have, right?
Sure, it's that one unified place. So, look, if someone else comes along with the event app and it takes off, I'll be very happy to also publicize our things on there. But yeah, it's a funny old thing. It's like, I love it. It makes me a bit anxious to be on Facebook, but that's what we do.
Yeah, it's not anymore. That back in the day, I remember getting the little notification sound. I was like, oh, someone's messaged me. Now it's like, oh, I've got to do more work.
Right.
A little bit along those lines. Okay, so you've mostly been focusing on doing the work stuff that we didn't have time before. But anything else? You've been playing any, I don't know, games or anything like that, or done anything else?
No, I've actually, because I love my games. I love my retro games. That's often what I do. What am I saying? Always what I do in Japan is look for video game stuff. But I haven't. I think I've played my Super Nintendo once in 6 weeks. I think it's because, like, it was a release. Like, it was it's almost like coming home and having a couple of beers as a way of forgetting about the day. When my day's not stressful, I don't need that anymore. I got rid of another thing is I got rid of my social media notifications so my phone doesn't beep nonstop. Started to read a goddamn book. And I'm like, I don't need to. So I've been playing a little video games. I like Doom 64 when that was released on Xbox One because I love old Doom and it's a classic version of old Doom. But yeah, not even video games as much. I don't need that release anymore.
Yeah,
I think that'll come back, but without the stress of the day, things are so different. I wake up every morning. I journal in the morning. I write every morning now.
Cool.
And I write some pages and just get my thoughts out, maybe write some extra, get little articles that I'm thinking about releasing. And I write it on pen and paper.
Yeah.
Remember that? Pen and paper?
That's what I should do.
Yeah.
Notebooks. And I've got pages everywhere where I write.
Good.
Do you feel like your mind is clearer?
Yes. Yes, that early hours have always been good. Like before, you fucks wake up like fucking 12, 1, you guys are coming online, asking me questions. And it's great. I've got all these hours in the morning before everybody wakes up.
Well,
and
to be fair, I do write to you mostly like at 5 a.m. is the time when I ask you the message, the questions. And then I look at the answers at like 12 or something. Like, okay, this is all I need. Thank you.
Now I wake up at about 11, 12, feed the cat, then look at my phone if I have something written to me. If not, I continue sleeping.
Yeah. I have a alarm clock at 10, so I can check if there's any important thing or urgent stuff that's going on. Nothing, I'll sleep another hour or two.
Damn, I'm up at 8. 8 is late for me. I can't sleep in anymore, so I'm in bed by like 11:30 latest.
Yeah,
I'm up at 8. I don't know. It's all calm. I go for a sauna now. Oh, I show my dick to the neighbors as I come out of the sauna. It's delightful. I get to sit and write and create. I get to make podcasts as much as I want. Guests are more available for podcasts.
Yeah.
So I was able to get Dave Benton to come in. I got Tavi Roivas to come into the studio here. Ordinary people who would be super busy usually.
Yeah.
I can make podcasts. I can have a sauna. I read. I'm having the greatest time in lockdown.
Yeah.
What was it like having Dave Benton? I know that's been a long time dream of yours to meet him.
I loved talking to Dave. He's got my suspicion was, and I think it was proved that the Eurovision is not really the most interesting thing about his life.
Yeah.
It's a great thing, but he's got like his stories when he was moving from Dutch Antilles and then he was living in America and then coming, and kind of his life is always about setting up somewhere new and reestablishing himself. And in many ways, he's like he's got an old school style. He's an entertainer. He's not just a singer. He doesn't just sing the songs. He entertains those people. And I love these stories. I just would happily just sit there and listen to him tell that full story end to end. Okay. And for me, it was exactly what podcasts should be. Just listening to someone tell their story, no interruptions, no time breaks. If you like it, you like it. If it's not your thing, no worries. For me, it was absolutely my thing to hear those stories, and I had a great show.
Oh, that's good. I think it's a good podcast when you enjoy doing it yourself as well. Like that's with Külapood as well. Like some people are like, "Yeah, why do you need to talk about animal genitalia so much?" But it's fun. It's I make podcasts as well because I have to listen to this later on when I'm editing it, and when you're listening, because there's plenty of Külapood episodes which have not aired, which I've done the listening to, and like there's a couple of things in here, but I'm not happy with the general quality, and I just won't put them up, right? Because then you won't. If you're not enjoying listening back to it, then you know that you're not creating.
That's interesting. So you listen back to every episode? Yeah,
because I edit stuff, because I always edit out. We make a lot of extra sounds that we don't need and stuff like that. And back in the day when it used to be. The studio quality wasn't the best that we had, not when we were doing it in Canada and stuff like that. So, we had band practices and stuff upstairs. So I constantly had to adjust and do a lot of post-processing. So I'm kind of used to just listening back and doing every little edit.
So you said you've had whole episodes basically of you and Ardo, sitting there doing your thing.
Yeah.
That you've listened back and gone, nah.
Yeah, exactly.
Not. Wow.
And then I have enough of a backlog usually that I can just put something else up.
I admire your dedication to the work that not only that you would have such a critical eye, right? Not only that you would go, no, I don't think this is up to a standard. I don't want to put it off. I admire that. I also admire, though, that you guys would just let yourself do that. Like, that's cool.
I haven't told Ardo before, by the way. I just realized this is the first time I've told Ardo this.
I like it that you guys just let yourself explore and go for it. And that's the way it's going to work. That's art, bro. That's making it. Some days are hot, some days are not hot. And that some people always, oh, this is going to be on. I'm on and I'm doing it. And that when you let yourself flow freely, I think this is because when you're good, you're very good.
This kind of like, I guess, writing, a joke. You practice on open mics, and not every joke, grows into something that you can use on a paid show, right? So you sort of have to scrap something sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with episodes, it does put into question some of the episode we have put in, but I always put up. But I do think that those are still there is something in them. But usually the ones that don't get up are, sometimes when you go and do a podcast, because we've been doing it for a while, and sometimes we're just tired from a show we did or something else. We don't have that energy, that spark, and if that's not there, then there's no point in putting a boring conversation up. Pretty much, conversations can, a podcast of Külapood can be serious in the sense that we talk about stuff that aren't funny. We don't talk about animals every time, but it's still interesting to listen to, me at least. Or I think it would.
Fuck that Ardo guy, but I'm pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, not what I'm saying, but for me, it's interesting to listen for the conversation.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Carl is listening. I can't wait for the armadillo penis spot. Oh yeah, that's coming up right now. I'm fucking excited about that.
So right, because you guys have got this dynamic with your podcast. It's the two of you, which is something because my podcast is I interview people or I talk with them. Let's say I have conversations, and there might be some common guests, like Tim's on all the time, but you have to. It's something I've never really considered. Create a new thing every time, just with the same. Like, fuck, I've been talking to this guy 100 times now.
Yeah.
100 hours of conversation, and we still gotta have some new shit to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think like we've done so many episodes that like I mean, if you do podcasts with guests, then it's different every time. Yeah, but like, I mean, at some point, yeah, you're just gonna, you're gonna run out of stories. You're gonna repeat yourself. So, yeah, it just if it's an episode of just the two of us, I can see how we can, not put everything up that we have. But if there's a guest there, then I think those have gone up.
Yeah, those have all gone up. Then we have a guest because it's gonna be interesting anyway. Because the way I mean, the questions to hear the answers and so on. I mean, sometimes it can be difficult if, for example, I'd have the same guest over a couple of times, then I'd have to think of new things to talk about in a way, because usually you ask your best questions the first time, right? So then you have to think of something else. And this is one of the reasons why I created the games for Külapood as well, was that even then I still have something to draw on, and the games are always meant to have their basic conversation starters.
Yeah, these games, they're really good in that a lot of them are terrible, but like they're like terribly good, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Like there's brilliance in them. So yeah, that's a great move on Karl's part.
Yeah, the games in themselves, like you wouldn't want to watch them in the sense of like you wouldn't actually. You could do betting on them. They're insane enough that you could do like a game show with betting on them, but it would be insane.
That's how we're going to make the money. We got to start the betting tote, then we got to do the inside. The insider information, we start switching it.
Yeah, and always with the games as well, people tell me that, so does Ardo know the answers before? And I'm like, no, I barely know the answers myself. I've done the minimum amount of research necessary for this, right?
Yeah, Karl gets corrected all the time in the chat. Yeah. His own game is false.
Yeah, so I was talking about this because we got some an audience mail today, and usually, like Louis Zezeran, they get like pictures of boobs and stuff. Baker gets like phone conversations of, hey, you stole my girlfriend or something. I get fact checked. This is literally the main type of email I get is, in episode 125, you mentioned this, but actually, this is the type of emails I get, right? Which is
you failed, Karl. You failed.
Yeah, but I'm happy. Like, it means people are passionate enough about the topic to actually care. And
I feel it too when people say something when there's something obscure in halfway through that I've heard. I'm like, wait, you must have listened to know that. That's I'm very even when I posted that picture of my grill yesterday, like a few people were like, yeah, you finally got it. I'm like, finally got it. Oh, you heard in the podcast. Wow, cool. That's very nice of them. I did a podcast last week on Tim Reedy's podcast, and he was talking with Daniel primarily, but I was there as the third wheel, and I really liked it. Not only because we were super drunk, but also because it was fun to be on a podcast where I wasn't the primary guest and I didn't have to lead the conversation. Like, I was the Ardo of this situation. I could just jump in wherever needed, and it was nice to just kill, baby, just slay.
Get it, man.
Yeah, I mean, there were girls coming at me. It was just like Ardo, non-stop, flowers, panties, boob pictures. It was just like Ardo's experience. Yeah, it was cool to not be the main host for once.
Yeah, I guess that's. I guess that's a good experience. I don't know.
I think you're just like heckling Dan too, I guess.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, it's good. He basically sets it up for himself all the time. He can just do whatever he wants. That's
dude's whole life is a huge setup.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I could go with Tim as well. I could I kind of take my time and I start to try to unwind out of Tim. Where does he get his money from? Tell us about these internet ad sites. You start asking him questions and posing this one. And I can take much longer and be much more subtle about trying to pull facts and decipher that guy's life.
But imagine if in 10 years time, Dan comes out and says, hey guys, actually, this has all been a bit my life is fine. I'm stable. I actually have a wife, a child. I have everything. I actually have my own house. It's just this has all been a bit, and you've all been pranked, right?
Commitment to the cause. It'd be beautiful.
Yeah, he's just undercover. He goes home to his family every night. Just a few more months. I'm close.
I'm gonna crack this case.
This wife is like, you're actually becoming him.
She's like, write a decent joke then. No, I'm doing the character. Go on.
If you love me, write a decent joke.
If you love me, you'd write a decent joke. Show me who you are.
Oh, wow.
What's the Daniel I really married?
Look into the eyes of your 5 children. And I don't know why 5. Okay, so you've been doing the podcast every Friday as well with Silla. How are they helping you keep sane pretty much? Because we don't have that much. The shows, usually you have interactions with shows and human contact. This is strange for me to say, but I'm starting to slightly miss some of you people. Not yet, soon. And so is the having the podcast this is actually helping for me. I mean, I don't actually care how many people watch this, but this is for me. So are the podcasts helping you as well a bit, or how's that?
Number one. And I think that attitude that you have, Carl, is absolutely the best attitude to have. You've gotta all of this shit. You've got to do it for you, because the views will be less than you expect, whatever they are. They'll be less than you expect. I guarantee. Yeah. The likes will be less than you expect. The comments and they can all be amazing, right? But it's about what you, as artists, we think of and construct up here. And I'm coming to the conclusion more and more. It's if you put a video on YouTube, not live chat's different, because live chat we're all talking, right? But if you put a video on YouTube, never ever look at the comments. Never once look at the comments. I think that's the best strategy for a nice life, where you like yourself and you enjoy your work and you're happy to do things and you're I like writing jokes and producing. Never, ever look at those comments.
I remember when I learned this when one of the videos went up, and the comment it wasn't even bad towards me. It was just stupid, right? I remember it was a comment about someone saying, I remember someone doing this joke at open mics. I think he stole it. I'm like, yes, I did them at the open mic.
It was you.
It was me. I lost a bit of weight between then when I did it first, perhaps. It's still the yellow shirt. It's still me.
Some fat guy did this joke already.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, it was me.
So it's been good. It's nice to do it with Silla. It's nice to have a different voice to bounce off. I think she's a great podcaster. She's a great personality. Because people have been, they say in the lockdown, they're a bit isolated. They're not talking. I have 3 or 4 good conversations every week. So I wasn't through the podcast. So not only is it a creative thing to do, but it was actually getting me out there talking to people. So yeah, it's been fun. And it's been fun to where you guys do this on Zoom, we're doing it live in the studio. So that's also kind of been interesting to have that format, because you've got to, even now I've got to slow down a little bit, be more considerate of, when you're talking, to try to give space, where it's just Silla and I yelling at each other, or getting drunk and yelling at each other.
Yeah, because I learned that very well in last Friday's episode, when we have 4 people on Zoom, and then you really have to sort of keep in mind when you can see someone else start talking, because then you'll get a delay, and Zoom's very different. The type of conversation's a lot slower.
When we had the 4 people, then at one point my internet connection kind of crashed, and when it came back, like everybody was in the middle of a big laugh. I was like, God damn it, I missed something good, didn't I?
Guys, tell me the joke. Yeah, I like doing it with Silla. It's been good. Like that's how to say. Friday afternoon, I like it. We just sit back and we talk about the week, and there's no expectations, and it's not meant to be an in-depth podcast or something. It's us. It's just meant to be some light entertainment, something you can listen to. And that's why the lockdown's been cool, because like we never would have done that before. We never would have done all this shit. You guys never would have learned how to do an excellent Zoom podcast 3 days a week. I never, like if we'd done a Friday afternoon, like people would have been like, what? Why are you live streaming? Why are you just sitting in the camera getting drunk on a Friday afternoon talking with Silla? Why are you doing that? And now it's like, yeah, that's what we do now. And it's sort of given us this kind of reason for doing it.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, the lockdown, I've said this multiple times on the stream, it's made me more organized. Because I have almost a routine now, which is
almost.
Almost. Sometimes, some days I don't. It depends on the day, because I still stuff happens. Because it's difficult to have a routine when you're a stand-up comedian, because you often travel to different places and so on. And some days you have the whole day for yourself. Some days you're like, oh, I've got to do early. I feel awful, but I'm gonna do it, and so on. But
what's your? How do you feel about that schedule situation, Ardo? You get up at 11, got to do the show. Have you got more or less of a schedule in lockdown?
I think it's actually less, because I don't. Well, if we do these lives, right, then that's kind of a point in the day that you have to mark in your calendar or something. But generally, I feel like it's easier to sort of fall into that trap of staying up all night and then sleeping all day, which is, I know it's bad, but just like we don't have any live shows, so I don't really feel like, you don't need to write that much material, you don't have open mics, you don't need to go to open mics, you don't need to write for it, don't have the motivation. So yeah, I feel like I'm a bit lazier, but I don't know. Sometimes I get into like back into the zone, let's say. So I haven't posted on Twitter for quite a long time, but then there are times when like I bring myself to think and write, and then I do like 4 posts in a week. So yeah, it comes and goes kind of.
Because you made that just today. We released the video, which is a sketch that you made at home, which was super cool. So there's something firing there. So was that an inspiration thing, or sort of did you deliberately go, I want something to do, I'm going to write a sketch? How did you come about that?
Well, that was kind of, I had kind of the idea, but I didn't really, I sort of had to force it, because I thought, it's a stupid idea. I mean, probably shouldn't even do it. It's pretty pointless. But I thought, whatever. Okay, I'm going to try it. So yeah, I filmed it and edited it. And it was a pain in the ass, really, because next time I'll try to do it in one take, because that was like really just awful. Like it took way too long for that to be worth it. But, I think the end result is fun.
How
so
much
I think there's definitely.
How much editing had you done before? Because the first time is always a learning experience. I think that's probably why it took so long.
Last time probably I had used, I don't know what, when I was in school, I had used Windows Movie Maker for some videos, which doesn't exist anymore, I think, in Windows. And it was a nice, easy piece of software that I would have actually liked, because now I had to like look at tutorials and like I had 3 different clips to, match all together plus sounds. So I was like doing this for hours, and then I rendered the video, and then it turned out that was wrong somehow. I had to do it again. So basically I didn't even go to sleep today. I just sent the video to Hendrik, and then I went to sleep. But yeah, so it's definitely something you have to kind of force. Like you have to, because it's easy to think like, that's pointless. I'm not going to bother. That's probably waste of time. But yeah,
I think that's all art, though. I mean, that's to create anything. I think if you are trying to be a comedian, or you're really like writer, or really anyone, right, who's trying to do something, if you are only waiting on the inspiration to come, you will be a very slow creator.
Yeah.
You only will make when you're like, I feel funny, I'm going to write a joke right now. I think you have to force yourself. You've got to make a routine. There's some time to write. There's free time where you don't get hassled or nothing, no phone notifications. Yeah. And that's super hard. Yeah. Oh my God, that's hard.
Absolutely.
The focus, the year 2020, focus, like not check your fucking phone and Instagram likes every 5 minutes, not even feel the like going, oh yeah, there's something going on my phone. Like to resist that and to put in that time and then to write something and go like, yeah, it's a piece of shit, and you're writing it going, oh, I know this is a piece of shit, but it doesn't matter. It's not. And to resist the urge to try to make something that's fully formed on the first go, like you write something and you're like, this is terrible, dialogue sucks, the joke's not good at the end, I'm not explaining everything, but to go, no, there's another point. I'm going to sit down and write out this dog turd because I'm going to look at it again later and be like, now I've got it, because you'll never get there. You'll never create the perfect thing on the first go, but it's so against every instinct inside of us.
I think it's a very important skill to learn how to force yourself to do writing. Which is something, by the way, that I can teach your company. If you
absolutely.
I do actually have lectures I do on that topic, but it is because
gunpoint, Last Name style.
But a little bit to yourself, because I find that I learned about myself early on that I don't have that much, like the inspiration ticks don't hit me as often, right? So I force myself to write all the time, and I find my strongest part as a writer is first of all when I'm collaborating with someone else, because I can look at the text and I can see, like, I can very technically look at the text and see where the points are that work in and what's not, and so on, and sort of see the structure, and sort of I can create structure in a text or anything well enough, and that's my strong part. And I'm decent when I push myself to just create structure or a joke out of any topic, but I'm not gonna be amazing like Ardo when he's just random. You know, it's something that seems random, but I don't know how he works, but he gets a good line or something about a topic, and then it's magic, right? Like, I don't have that. I'm an artisan in a way more than I am an artist, I find so often.
You're fabulous, Karl.
Oh, thank you.
Don't you forget it.
Nobody knows how Ardo's brain works. He could be writing a joke, or he could be plotting the mass genocide of an entire race. No one would know what's going on between those eyes.
But if we would have like a show tomorrow, like, it would be so much easier to find the motivation to write and stuff, or plot something. Who
knows? If only there was a war tomorrow, I'd have so much more motivation to think about the genocide. But it is, right? And that's why I was interested that, I'm writing a bunch of notes right now, but I'm not sure I'm writing full stand-up bits. And I'm a bit half on, because there's no show coming up and I don't feel that vibe, but maybe I should write that note out a little bit further. Maybe there are degrees, right? Like I write the first idea, write a couple sentences. Maybe I should write a few more sentences of that bit. I've got all these notes that I somehow think that when Yuri gives us the green light one more time, that I'll go like, oh, now it's stand-up bits. I could be doing a bit more, I think. A bit more focus.
For me, because we've been doing these lives so often, I find myself writing sort of down stories to talk about on the podcast later, and not for the episodes we're doing online now, but stories I want to talk when we're doing it face to face with Ardo and so on, in person, right, when it's just the two of us. So I constantly go, oh, this would be good for the podcast. So I write that down, like, okay, remember to tell that story. So it's a different, because the motivation and my current experience is different. Not doing stand-up shows as much. My writing is focused on a different bit.
Yeah, so we're supposed to write and do your stand-up experiences. What experiences are we having?
Yeah,
what are we
exactly
doing? Another day playing Nintendo. Yes.
It's the same. I'm looking at chat as well, and I'll go through chat a bit, and then we'll go and do the game. Okay. I think that's the time as well. I didn't even ask you about how you sort of started with stand up and all of that, but I think
we can get to that. Hold on, just come back. Hold on, I need to do just 1 second. Wait.
Sure. He's probably having a wee.
No, I think it's gonna.
Okay, no.
Did you flip the stakes?
Yeah. So I lasted a full hour without cracking a beer.
Well done.
I can just imagine you sitting there and it looking at you. Like...
So
let's. Sorry, pardon me.
Let's see. How was it? Someone said, guys, you have a lot of free time. How much porn time you waste in porn sites? Not more than usual.
So loads.
So way too much. Yeah. I mean, I'm living almost the same life I've always lived. It's just I don't go to shows as much. That's the only difference. And as some of you might know, I used to wank behind the stage. So I never did, but I'd like to throw that out there so people think I did. So like,
maybe he did.
He's insane. No, I never did.
We saw the curtain waving one time. I have discovered I stopped looking at porn from the lockdown. It's been a couple weeks now. Like I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I looking at these things? Like I'm not trying to get on my high horse about all like objectification of women. Porn's great. Like porn's like beer or weed or name your addiction, right? It can be totally fine. But you know, you got that addictive personality, maybe it starts sinking into the brain a bit much. So Zen, I read my Roman philosophers, I drink my beer, and I don't look at porn.
Yeah, I find porn it has its own place in society, and it can have its own place in your life, because like beer or whatever you said, like it's certain situations it's okay, but don't overindulge, and everything in moderation.
I find I can have
basically like we're, you know, we have caveman brains, right? So we're not really equipped to handle massive amounts of online porn, where you can basically in 15 minutes you have click on different clips, you have these other suggested clips like next to them. You can see more naked pussy than your ancestors could in several lifetimes. And now that's bound to give you like you know, an abnormally high dopamine hit. I've seen a TED talk about it. Yeah, it's basically we're not evolved enough to handle it. So it's easy to fall into an addiction.
I mean, it's also the same they say about screens and sort of, well, having the sort of lights and bright lights and of any like TV screen or smartphone or whatever, if you're watching a video or a game, that we're getting so much oversaturated. Our brain gets overcharged by this from an early age, right? But you add the sort of sexual aspect to that, which is even more primal, and then suddenly it's the perfect storm, right?
It's kind of like the... I think Chris Rock had a bit about it. Like when you start watching porn, then, you know, anything like goes. You see just some random pixelated clip of missionary, and you're like, oh wow, this is great. But then like a few months later, only thinking that can get you off is like very specific. Like he said something like an Asian girl with a black girl's ass and a Spanish accent or something, plus a midget. So, you know, leads you down a slippery slope.
For me, I don't want to appear to the people that I'm some sort of like, you know, prude or like, you know, I'm doing super good. To me, the way that I deal with the various addictions, to me, it's basically a game of whack-a-mole, that I whack like 2 of them down and then 2 others spring up, and then I get rid of them and I hit that, and then they keep popping up and I keep hitting them down, but I can never keep them all down. As you know, no, I don't look at pictures of girls, but gee, I do like this beer right now.
Yeah, I've pretty much stopped alcohol, but I mean,
Yeah.
like,
But think about though, if every time that you felt like jacking off the porn, you did 30 push-ups, you'd be fucking ripped, man. Think about that. Think about that. Who do you want to be in life? Do you want to be the guy that jacks off? Or do you want to be the guy that's fucking ripped?
You could be both. You could be Ari Matti Mustan.
Well, he's one in a million.
It's true.
I remember one of the porn jokes I enjoyed was by Simon Amstel, and he says like when he started looking porn, it was very prudish about it, like it had to be ethical porn pretty much, right? But now it, like as it evolves, it's now he can't look at anything where someone isn't tricked into having sex, right? Like someone has to get tricked, right? At that point, it's okay. So yeah, it does sort of devolve. But
All right.
Looking more at chat.
Yes.
Tauri's asking, what's the worst comment that you read, that you have read? And the question was to Louis, actually.
I don't know if I've like direct hate, and that's what I think is part of the difference that us straight white men sitting here going, someone said something about me on the internet. Like what people say about us is nothing.
Yeah. I have some people in the chat just say awful things about me while I'm recording this, right?
Wow.
There's fat jokes constantly on the scroll, right? It's fine.
Do you find that one though? Okay, let's talk about
with Karl. It's kind of like it's also a way of showing love. I think it's not pure hate. It's kind of like you want this, I'm gonna give it to you.
I guess I do give that off a bit because often in like even if I talk in your podcast, Louis, like if I type into chat, it becomes roast Karl section for a bit. I think I just have that effect because I personally don't mind being the butt of jokes. I mean, if it's a good joke, then I enjoy just having the joke. I don't care if it's about me. I'll just laugh with it. And I've always laughed.
I think there's something we've got to be conscious of here as we're doing this communication. This thing that we're doing is actually quite intimate. You guys are all watching on your phones at home, on your computers, quite close. You're not watching in a big group of people. You're connecting, and this is great. This is probably not the first one you've watched. You probably watch a whole lot of Karl and Ardo, right? And so, but when we all as comedians get on, we're friends. So we start doing the jokes. We start joking about one another. And, then we do like, Louis likes young chicks, Karl's fat, Ardo is, I don't really know what Ardo's problem is, a serial killer.
Yeah, that's the only thing we have on him during roasts.
Right. That's all we've got. So we start doing those jokes, right? But because what this format that we're doing is quite intimate, people want to be involved. And and that's great. You're very nice that people are involved, and then they go, oh, I'm also going to make a joke at Karl. And then you go like, what? I don't know you, motherfucker. And you call me fat. What the fuck? Get the fuck out of here. And it's not the fault of the person. They just want to be involved in that because we've created this thing that's actually quite close and together. And I don't know if there's a solution. It's just more like, I don't know. I guess it's if they hear enough, then they understand, like, they get enough context to get people in, because you're fine. You're not like sitting at home crying about someone making a comment.
I read them out loud if it's a good fat joke. I read them out loud. Honestly, because you'll often see me look at the chat, like the chat's on this side for me and this screen, and I'll giggle by myself, and that's because I read a good joke on chat, and then I wait for whatever conversation gets to some sort of close, and I can go and read the good jokes of chat.
So I try and think about it. Should be that like you steal their jokes.
Pretty much.
That would be like the best punishment.
Yeah, I do.
It'll be like Sander moderates that comment so it's hidden, but then takes that fat joke and uses it himself.
Yeah. Puts it into. I know what's coming on the roast.
So I try to think about that when people comment stuff like that. Like keep in mind we're inviting people in. So of course people have different levels of humor. So nothing about me. You know what? Without getting too preachy on the whole thing, it's been quite illuminating working with Silla Kadri, and seeing the different treatment women get. And like the common thread I found is that women are always asked to justify themselves. Tell me a funny joke. Why are you doing comedy? Why are you like this? Why are you that? And I'm like, and so I made this criteria. I was like, okay, guys, maybe guys, we're not good at the online thing. Maybe you don't know the rules or the social etiquette. So my guideline is, if you're a guy and you're about to write a comment to a woman online, ask yourself this question. Would you write that comment to Alexander Popov? Right? Would you go, are you funny? Why are you doing this? If you could, no way would you write that shit to Alexander Popov. So why would you write it to a woman?
Not even only write, if you could ask that out loud to Popov's face.
Yes. And if you would, then passes, cool. Ask it to the woman.
General rule in life, I think.
Yes. Yes.
Would you slap Popov's ass?
Yes, I would. But yeah, okay. So yeah, that's actually. Someone also said Windows Movie Maker is still free to download for Windows users. So, Ardo, you've wasted a couple of hours of your life.
Which app did you use, Ardo, to make the clip with?
Blender.
Oh, free, open source. Okay, very good.
I don't use Blender.
Yar.
There goes that sponsorship.
No. I use Sony Vegas. I use Vegas because I got that free from Humble Bundle years ago, so I thought I'll use that. So let's do the game. I think it's time for a game. This is Hypothetical Horror is the name of the game. This is a very simple game. I read out a statement. It's a but statement. So if something happens, then also something else will happen, right? And all you have to do is think how many people would say yes to this, because they're all yes or no. And there's 100,000 people who have answered all of these. And what's the percentage of people who would say yes? Okay. So the first one is that you get $100,000 every week, but you need to listen to only K-pop from now on. So that's Korean pop music for those.
Yeah. So okay, so do I have to majority say yes? Do I have to give a number out of that 100,000 who would say yes?
Yeah. The percentage of how many do you think said yes?
75% said yes.
Okay, 75 would say so. K-pop.
Yeah, people would do it
because it's only the question is really do you like K-pop enough? Can you? If you don't like K-pop at all, are you willing to live without music, essentially?
You know what I like? I like rubbing money all over my face. Yeah. That's what I like.
100,000 every week.
That's right. 100,000 every week.
Every week.
Was it dollars or what?
Dollars, yeah.
Is a good point. Not pesos.
And American, not the worthless Australian one.
Yeah, no one wants that shit. No. May as well be using it for toilet paper.
Yeah, pretty much.
Although the money in Australia... True? Our money is plastic. It's not paper in any way whatsoever. Yeah. It's got little see-through bits on it, so you can't counterfeit it and shit. But the best part about plastic Australian money is that you can put it in your pocket, go for a surf, and when you come out, it's fine because it's plastic. It hasn't.
Do you think this is what I think it was created?
Exactly. It's the most Australian currency ever.
Yeah, that makes sense. Otherwise it'll just get it wet.
Yeah. I want to come back. I want to have a coffee after I've had a surf. $5, no problems.
Someone said K-pop is music too, Carl. Yes, K-pop is music, and I have listened to K-pop in my life, and it's fine. I mean,
those guys are nuts. They've got to have the full boy band thing. They can't have girlfriends. They've got contracts about how they can act. It's bananas.
Oh yeah, I had a friend who was really into K-pop for a while, and I learned a lot about it. It's a competitive scene as well. It's they're all products basically. Mm. There's nothing natural about them. They're all because they all have their own personalities. That's very media managed. They all have to have a specific look. It's very Korean, and the J-pop as well, Japanese as well.
One's the quirky one, and one is the quiet one, and one's the pretty boy.
Yeah, and it's always very sort of it's very themed. They all have a very specific theme. You can so you can tell each band apart from the other as well. As far as I've.
You think we could have E-pop and it would be like Estonian pop, but it would just be us?
And all the songs are stolen.
There's Ardo, and he's got his 8-pack abs showing there, and Carl's the quirky one, and then and then there's me as the manager on the side going, "Fucking more money!"
I was gonna say that Ardo's the one who has the muscles. I'm the one who can sing. Like that's I do the singing. Ardo just goes, "Ooh yeah!" Like some of this. This is where the money actually comes. Nobody cares about the singing, Carl. Oh yeah.
No, we'll just steal some songs from various other places.
I think we'll just
take them and translate them. You can be like the greatest Estonian stand-ups. Just take them and translate them.
I think if we take K-pop songs and just translate them into Estonian, we'll still keep the English phrases in English, and it'll be fine.
Bro, we were saying the other night they had that Tunnist Ninamets thing on Tele2's Facebook page. Me and Sandra were sitting back thinking that next time they have the Estonian Theatre Awards, we should propose a new category, which is best translation in an Estonian comedy show. Very accurate translation. Good, yes, really source material.
That's good, yeah. So you said 75%, Louis.
Yep, 75. We'll take it.
Okay, Ardo, what do you think?
I think most people would take it. Yeah, not me, because gotta have my Tarmo Pihlap. But I believe 90% would say yes.
Okay. Well, the correct answer is 65%. Louis was closer.
Dang.
Only 45.
We can see by the wallpaper that Ardo has more than enough money. He's really happy with his circumstances.
That's actual gold leaf. You can see there behind him. That's actual gold leaf. And it's Electrum. The other part is Electrum, which is a mix of... Or Platinum's more expensive than Electrum, of course.
What?
Electrum.
Electrum is
this rich people wall you're saying?
Yeah, Electrum is silver and gold. Is the alloy of silver and gold, basically.
Oh.
It's, used in fantasy games.
I could scrape this off and sell it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what you're saying.
Try it.
Yeah, gold leaf.
I paid a deposit on this, so can't fuck this up.
Cool. So the next question is, you become the most skilled swordsman possible, but you must challenge everyone you meet to a duel. So you get to become the most skillful swordsman. You'll probably win, but everyone you meet, you have to challenge them to a duel.
Every person.
Yeah, every person.
So if you go to the store and just like every person in the store, you have to.
If you see them, yeah, like if you don't have to go up to everybody, but anybody coming towards you, like you there, a duel.
So you'd have to define the radius around yourself.
I guess
no, stay out, or
in visual range, 10 meters in front of you.
Sounds like Corona lockdown.
Yeah. Imagine meeting women. You're like on Tinder and you match, and she's like, "You want to meet up?" And like, "No, because I will have to kill you with a sword if we do."
Right. Corona would be great for that person. 2 + 2. Yep, it's a good. Yep. Absolutely. We need to have social distancing.
But yeah, I think you don't have to.
Not many.
You don't have to.
You could be the best swordsman. Like, who would you have to then ask? Who would be interested in being the best swordsman? Like, who's willing to make this deal with the devil?
And also, you don't want. It's not a useful skill anymore. People have guns. It's not like you're going to be like in medieval times. Yeah, I'm the best swordsman. I'm gonna win everything, right?
Yeah. Have you not seen Indiana Jones? That scene where this fucking guy comes out with the swords and he's
Well, yeah, I think we actually talked about it in one scene. I love that scene because that was supposed to be an exquisite fight, right? Like Harrison Ford was supposed to do sword fighting as well, but he had dysentery at the time. So he was really ill, and he was like, "Can't I just shoot him?" And I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." And then it's an iconic scene, right?
I think.
So, what would be the only advantage to being a master swordsman?
Well, if you want to go to the Olympics, I suppose.
Impress chicks, I guess. Like, yeah, baby, look. Because you would be like, yo, I'm a master swordsman. You get slapped. You're like, you pervert. Like, no, with a real sword and shit.
I'm going to impale you on my two-hander. Well, and then
you an axe killer or you Harvey Weinstein? She's not sure which one at that stage.
But at that point, the police should be involved. Like after that sentence, no matter what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Would you even be allowed to like wear a sword like on the streets in Estonia? I think it's
I mean, perhaps if you go in cosplay. I know there's the live action role play stuff. So you have the LARP, which is you make the sword out of PVC and other sort of soft materials and make it look like a sword. But then there is the same style with actual weaponry as well. But I don't know. You probably have to have that in a car until
just
you get
call
to the
it.
forest.
You could do it right now. Just call it a Corona lockdown thing. Like you can do. Like I've got a bandana that I put around my like I look like a gangster or like someone out of a Banksy photograph.
You look like the ballas out of GTA.
Yeah. I'm look like a full gangster. You put the glasses on, the hoodie. You can legitimately walk into Prisma with bandana, glasses, hoodie. No one questions you right now. So fuck it, sword. Why do you have a sword? It's Corona. It's lockdown. Shut up. So get away. Social distancing.
I remember. Well, Estonia is very relaxed anyway. I remember. Back in my university days, one of the problems we had at the council, student council, was that there were issues of people taking like fake weaponry, like for an event. They just had the fake weapon, like an AK on their back, and just walked into the university. Nobody stopped them. Like everybody was like, "Oh no, that's fine, that's fine," and they just walked in. And that was when there was like in the media there was a lot of issues about weaponry in schools, right? And so the Italian university was like,
well, no security guard gets paid enough to do anything, so they just
they probably just left. They were like, "Oh, you're in here. Okay, that's good. Okay, thank you."
That guard is so old. He remembers the Red Army. He's going to give you some tips on how to service that AK. He knows how to strip it down, the right oil to use.
So, swordsman, yes or no?
5%, like barely any.
Okay.
There's like a few nerds who will be like, yeah, swords, and that's it.
Yeah, I have my samurai sword, I have my katana, and that's all I need, right?
I kind of agree. Yeah, I agree. I think, but I don't know. Maybe there were a lot of 13-year-old boys who answered that question. So I'm going to say 13% said yes.
Okay. The correct answer is 53% yes. So over 50,000 people would say yes to that. That's
Pärnu. Everyone in Pärnu plus
Pärnu people.
You would just have swords. Like, make a town where it's legal to have swords and everybody's the best.
If you dealt with that many Finnish tourists, you would also want to strike down everybody.
Yeah. They keep challenging people to duels right now. It's not even that they're great swordsmen. They're just, you have a shank, and technically, if you shank a bottle and make it into a rose, like if you make it, is that a sword? I would be a great swordsman in that case.
You'd be a Pärnu swordsman. It's a new euphemism.
So actually, let's see. You said. Oh, well, Ardo said the bigger number, so Ardo's...
we win.
Ardo gets the point. Cool.
Moving up in life.
Oh, yeah. It's a tie. The next question is... you create a pizza everybody loves, and you get famous for it, but you also ruin McDonald's. So... You create a new perfect pizza everybody loves, but there's no McDonald's food in the world anymore, pretty much. There are other chains.
Downside.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the downside here, unless my name is Ronald. But, like everyone except one, Ronald was by.
Yeah, Ronald's like, this is fucked up.
becomes all anti-immigrant and shit with his red hair. It's all waving around with these nose. Fuck these eye tights.
or if you're Akri Slavyev, who's a very specific reference. This is a fake Facebook account that used Mika's picture a long time. I think it still exists of some guy who put Mika's picture as his own, but he has a whole life story there. Like he's from Narva or something, I think, and he started and he has different jobs listed, and now he's the manager at the local McDonald's and stuff. Like I don't know quite what's going on there, but I think it's still active.
There be some people who would love McDonald's. I mean, okay. Do we have any information about whether this survey was taken in America or not?
It was on the internet.
Oh, on the internet. Okay.
So everywhere.
You can create the perfect pizza, but McDonald's goes away.
As a hint, I can give you, like, there was a question about you can stop famine and everything bad disease in Africa, but Europe gets poor and becomes like there's famine and stuff in Europe, and I think almost 80% said fuck Africa. So
Ola Africa, Carl.
So that's So that's what the demographic is on this website. So.
Hey, does any okay, a side question to this. So McDonald's has got Ronald, right? And there's also his other related characters, the Hamburglar. I don't know any of the others. The one with the hat, the big hamburgers, the big fat purple guy. Yeah, they've got characters, right? I'm like,
they used to be really big on the characters when I was growing up because then you would have the birthday parties at McDonald's, and then you had all the characters everywhere. Right now, it's just all about Ronald.
Right. All the other characters are faded in. So Pizza Hut doesn't have any. Like, does any Estonian food chain have a mascot?
I mean, I can think Stockman's Hullut Päevad has, but that's Finnish more like.
They got the ghosts.
They have the ghosts.
They look like weird KKK members.
Yellow.
So I was like, has Pizza Kiosk, they need a character. That's Ronald is what made us in the 80s and the 90s. We need Pizza Kiosk needs to have like, no, pizza, like.
Are you trying to find us like some sources of revenue in this time of crisis?
Yeah. We got to hustle, baby. We got to work this out, okay? We got to, Ardo, tomorrow at 2 p.m., you're going down to Pizza Kiosk. You're going to be standing at the front, put this thing on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ari,
my sponsorship
thrusting in front of Viljandi Burger.
Oh, definitely. Oh, sales 1,000%. Okay, if you can take down, and there's also, but here's the thing: a lot of people are going to like McDonald's, so I'm going to go 45% of people would get rid of McDonald's for the perfect pizza.
Yeah, but you also get famous for the perfect pizza.
Oh,
this is a factor in it.
You'll be the pizza guy. You'll be like, yeah. Because then not only would you be like, did you like that pizza, motherfucker? Did you like that? You like that pizza? Yeah. Well, guess what? You
basically become the Colonel Sanders of the pizza world.
Right. Actually, that's a great example, Carl, because KFC are like bringing back Colonel Sanders as a mascot. Where McDonald's has sort of been like, yeah, they ain't really talked about Ronald for a number of years.
Yeah.
He's there.
He's got a bit creepy.
Little bit. Clowns, not so popular anymore. But the Colonel, like, apparently it's cool again to be a redneck Colonel from the South. So they're like, let's bring him back. Yeah.
He had a dating game. KFC made a dating simulator of Colonel Sanders that you could sort of try and get Colonel Sanders into a not hetero relationship.
Really, that'd be funny.
Yeah, that was the game. That was an official KFC game. It was free as well. Everybody can play it if they want.
So, you not only would be the guy who made the pizza, you're like, hey, that's my pizza. Hey, it's my pizza. You would then be the one who took down the evil empire.
Yeah, and you become the new empire.
Well, yeah, that's it. Then you want to...
Yes.
35%.
35%. Ardo, what would you say? 35%.
I'm going to go as high as 70%.
Ooh. The correct answer is 87% yes.
Oh.
People don't like McDonald's. People like McDonald's less than Africa.
Dang. And that's saying something.
That's
That's why. I mean, that's saying something. There's no McDonald's in Villiani.
Okay. The next one is, I have two more. A wallet appears in your pocket with $100 that recharges every day. But if you lose it, you will be hunted down by your local government. I mean, this comes down to where you live. Because if you live here, I'm not afraid.
Mikhail Korb are going to be out there on the streets.
Yeah. And they local government. Is this Tallinn? Like Mikhail Kõlvart is coming to hunt me down? Like,
I mean, Kõlvart is scary though. He is ripped and he knows Taekwondo. So
that's true.
Dude, he's little Putin. He's totally trying to be little Putin. For sure. He's showing his chest. He's doing all these kung fu shit. Like 100% little Putin.
Yeah, you can imagine just me escaping in Lasnamäe and Kõlvart with a sniper rifle just at the canal, just going like, I can see I'm waiting just on the top of a 16-story building.
He tries to take the shot, misses the shot, throws the sniper rifle away, does backflips down the thing, and then he's going to all this shit on you.
Jump kicks you. Did you know that in the 90s, Kõlvart's car was bombed? And his friend died.
Oh,
like his friend went to his car and died in the bomb that was meant for Kõlvart.
Dang,
I did not know that.
Is gangster shit.
Suddenly, I'm a bit more afraid.
Wow. And what do you know any of that backstory? I mean, was there any explanation or anything out of it?
You know, apparently he was a very nice guy. So no. I think it's something mafia related, you know.
I did an event once at Vene Katolikeskus, and Mikhail Kõlvart was the guest of honor there, and it was some international people, but there was a lot of Russian-speaking people there, and I was the host. That's why I was there at this event, because it was international, and he was the guest of. I mean, not like the guest of honor, but he was there. He was in the front row, and because I'm backstage and he's there as well, and I see him sitting down, and the way that the Russian-speaking people related to Mikhail Kõlvart was like with such respect and such poise, and with like, oh, he's the man. Even the people who worked there, wherever, and also because we're in Vene Katolikeskus, right? So it's like. His money is coming from his government, is funding that shit. And it was just the utmost respect. He was the man in that venue, and he knew it. He knew it. He's like, I'm the man. And I could never imagine Estonians treating any Estonian politician that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck this. Who is this guy? Come on.
Yeah.
I remember like one time there was this, it was New Year's one year at Vabaduse Väljak, where they have these concerts, and then they had like Liis Lemsalu or whoever. They were like, give it up for Liis Lemsalu. Everybody was like, yeah. And then they were like, give it up for the head of the Central Tallinn government, Arvo, whatever. And then someone was like, boo.
Yeah. That's my experience of pretty much every public event when the politician comes on stage. Yeah. Like before, it's like, yeah, then it's a politician. Like, oh, okay, let's do the shtick. Yeah. You're happy that we're all, yeah. But I mean, I get it. That you have to keep up appearances. I mean,
but if Mikhail Kõlvart comes on, you're a happy little comrade.
Yeah, because you're afraid of being kicked in the face.
No red dots on me, please.
Yeah, your car's gonna blow up. Yeah.
I mean, no one's just gonna put a bomb in someone's car as like just a goof, you know. You must have done something.
Ashton Kutcher just like punked. It was in 1999. I just checked it. It was in 1999. In front. Oh. It was it was pretty much behind my house. It's like a street across from me.
You're like, oh, I remember that explosion. Yeah.
There were a lot of bombs during that time. I mean, there were bombs. No, like just a couple of buildings away, there were bombs every time. So we're bombing as often at that time.
I like how casually you say that. Yeah, there was a lot of bombs. What are you gonna do? There was bombs with the explosion and the going off. It was keeping me up at night. I'm like, oi.
And there were shooting the bombs. I mean, that's fine.
Shooting your bombs.
You would often wake up during the night for if there was someone shot. And I remember like, what was that? It's nothing. Go to sleep.
Don't worry about it, little Carl. Go back to sleep, little Carl.
Yeah.
It's going to be all right. You can play WoW in the morning. Go to sleep, little Carl.
Yeah,
Every time little Carl heard an explosion, a future mayor just survived.
Yeah. I was 10 when that happened. So during that time, so I don't like. I wasn't involved. I wasn't a young gangster, like 10 years of age. No. I'm really good at the explosives, sir. Can I do some more bombs, sir?
It would be cool if it was you who planted the bomb, and then Gulvart would be like, finally, I will avenge my friend.
Don't hunt me, sir. I was just following orders, sir. I do like explosions. But where was I? I had the game.
What was the question? Yeah, I forgot.
So you get a wallet in your pocket that recharges $100 every day. But if you lose the wallet or get stolen or whatever, then the local government will hunt you down.
The $3,000 a month. $3,000 a month, and you gotta protect yourself from the local government.
If you lose it, you have to protect the wallet. Pretty much, you just have to be really careful of not losing it. So constantly have it on your body or something.
$100 a day, but people do love money. It's a lot of tacos.
I would think like, okay, if let's say if you can take it out of your pocket, right, and it doesn't have to be in the pocket, you put it in a safe or something. You don't tell anybody about it, and then you just every day take the 100 out, and you don't have to worry as much about it.
Right. It would be a little different if this was like the Hunger Games and everyone knows you've got the wallet and they're hunting you down and they want. It's a game. I'm going to go quite high. I'm going to say 85% of people here.
Okay, sounds high.
I think some people probably want the government to hunt them down, like backwoods. Yeah, Midwestern United States people, loaded.
Coming for my guns.
Oh, I thought you were like people from Yuka were going like, I want them to hunt me down so I can tell them about the situation of the roads here. I need to fix these roads. I don't care if you kill me in the process. It's for the greater good.
Do you think Yuka local government is competent enough to find someone?
I mean,
didn't they lose like an old man? That was Mikael's bit. They lost an old man.
Yeah, that's right.
Took someone with the same name.
How local is local? We just talked about Talon City, right? Okay, so you move. So okay, another way to reframe this question is for $100 a day, would you live in Yuka?
There's probably a campaign, that's offering $100 a day for living in Yuka right now.
They won't even hunt you down. They just like give you $100 a day for it.
It's like you have to stay. They put like an ankle bracelet on you so you don't leave.
And you go, it's fine, and then there's no Wi-Fi. Like
you be walking around going, no, pedophile. No, it's a pedophile. It's not the Yogava one. No, I touched kids. I definitely don't even live in Yogava.
That's getting clipped. But I mean, talking about the lockdown, I didn't have any electricity at one point. Like last week, we had to cancel a day of an episode because they said, "Oh, your electricity is going away in Last Night." So thanks.
How long? Like a day? Did they give you forewarning or just
we got a couple of days warning, like, hey, it's going to be some time. And then we found out that with the electricity gone, there was no warm water either because all the pumps in the house go through that. So no water or electricity, pretty much. And, yeah, actually, last night my water went away as well. Like, I didn't have any water during the evening, so...
Like none? There's none flowing from the tap?
No, I realized there was no water when I flushed the toilet and nothing would was going back into the toilet. So like, oh, there's no water. Oh, at least I have some at home.
I support your choice of suburb that you live in, Carl.
Yeah.
You know,
No, this is
who'd have thought I live in Lastna and things are shit.
Life.
Like, okay, cool. What an unbelievable statement.
No Lastna shaming.
So, Ardo, what percentage would you say?
I think about 40%. 40%.
The correct answer is 81%. Louis said 85.
Yeah.
As I can see him trying to remember what
Yes.
You got that Australian outlaw spirit.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll take them on, you bastards. I'll fucking keep them down.
I think most people would have the same feeling as me. Like, they're not competent enough to find me. It's local government. What are they going to do? Build a bridge?
Well, yeah, actually, because like, as far as the state is concerned, I live in Laagre, but I really live in Tallinn, so they're just on a wild goose chase, aren't they?
And the last question is that, this is a money one again. They've all been very money focused. You get a chance to make £100,000 in Dubai, but you become a fat KFC bastard.
What?
Basically, this is pretty much the choice Louis has had in his real life.
I haven't been to KFC in Estonia yet. I haven't been that hungover.
But yeah, you get 100. But you go to Dubai and you make £100,000, but you become basically overweight from KFC. In the period. And why I say that's why you're real life, because when you were in IT, like you were telling me as well, that your diet was quite not good, because you would get sent to places and you would make decent money, but also because you would eat junk food then there.
Sure, you're traveling all the time. I mean, I did go to Dubai. I did go there and be fat, actually.
Yeah.
I remember I did go to Dubai. I have a master's of computer science, and when I graduated, I kind of started to work for a company, and they very quickly worked out that I was much better at talking than I was at programming. I could talk the talk, and thankfully my first boss kind of saw through it. And so they made me a software trainer. So I'm out giving, I mean, if there are any, my fellow nerds out there, I'm giving Sun Microsystems, doing their Java certifications, their J2EE certifications. I was out there teaching that shit literally like 3 months out of university. And I was teaching some other software, and they sent me to the Middle East. They sent me to Dubai and then to Saudi Arabia to teach that software there. And so I think I was in Saudi Arabia. I think that was in Riyadh. And amazing hotel, just like opulence, huge, because the foreigners get the nice shit there. And I'm at this stage maybe 5 months out of university. I went to a small town. So we're talking like 22 or something, some shit like this, 23 maybe. I'm 5 months out of university. I've been, university style. Like I'm Carl living in Lastna. Oh, the water's on. It's a great day. You don't know. You eat when there's food available because you're not sure when food's coming again. You're eating at the takeout. That's the student life. Now, 5 months after that, I'm staying at the most opulent hotel in Dubai, and they're like, oh, we have a buffet that's 25 meters long for breakfast, and you can have whatever and I'm like, whatever I want. They're like, whatever I want. And I was just making myself, because I was just like, instinct, like, must eat. More pancakes, chef, bring them on. And just writing myself off. And I had to it took like 5 days of this punishment. Sort of like, no, it's cool. The buffet will be there tomorrow, bro.
The brain actually goes, oh, there's more food than just one day.
Yeah. Hunter-gatherer survival instinct was still very strong in me. So, yeah, I understand what that. So you get $100,000 and you get fat. But it doesn't say you have to stay fat, I guess. I mean, you could... Yeah. Work it off, go for a run. It's going to take you a while. I mean, okay, that might take you the next year to work that off, but you got $100,000. I mean, that's a reasonable payday for a year.
Yeah. I think that as well. But how many percentage of the 100,000 would say as well?
Okay, yeah.
Basically 100,000 for becoming fat. Like how many would have the willpower to then become not fat again?
But wait, we're talking about people on the internet.
Yes.
So do you think maybe majority of them already are fat from KFC?
This is also a factor that could be. People who do these tests tend to be too deep on the internet. Like, you don't get on this website like your first visit to the internet. You're like, let's see what today brings in the depths.
I've just been jogging. I went for a jog, and I was talking socially with my friends, having a great conversation. Now I've decided to answer a quiz on the internet.
And I'm not gonna find out what kind of a pony I would be, or what flavor ice cream I would be on BuzzFeed. No, I want to know the deepest, darkest secrets.
You didn't choose this quiz. You just did it because you can't stand up anymore. I guess that's me now. But why is it? I wonder why is it Dubai specifically though?
I don't know. This was written on the question site, and I copy pasted it. I didn't even have to translate it today, which was extra easy.
So you get 100,000, but you're gonna get fat. But they had to add Dubai.
Yeah.
Middle of that.
Perhaps, I don't know. Become KFC as well. It's very specific. Fat KFC fat.
I miss when they were just called Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'd like to go back to that. I'd like to just call it Kentucky Fried Chicken again. Kentucky Fried, like it was real, Now I was like KFC.
Yeah, that's Mickey D, KFC.
Yeah,
make it more international or something.
No, Kentucky
Fried Chicken.
Have you seen a movie called what's it? Killer Joe?
No.
Is that about the monkey?
No, it's not.
No.
I like how you say it's the monkey. Like,
no, there was one.
I don't know which monkey you're talking.
There was one movie
you're talking about our friend.
No, there was one movie about I think Jack Black was in it, and it was like a gorilla or something.
Well, sounds
no,
like
that was
Jack
Joe Black probably, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. That was the giant thing. Yeah. But Killer Joe it's a movie with Matthew McConaughey.
Sorry,
like it's a crime movie.
Joe Black is a 1998 American romantic fantasy film with Brad Pitt and Anthony Hopkins. Sorry. Please continue.
Yeah. You have no idea about movies.
Yeah.
Meet Joe Black was that where Brad Pitt played death or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Killer Joe, it's just KFC has a prominent role in the ending. That's why I brought it up.
Oh,
like you'll never look at KFC the same way again after watching that movie.
What is Killer Joe movie?
I recommend it.
Okay, I just checked it. It's 2011 American Southern Gothic black comedy crime film.
Southern Gothic American black crime film. Okay, very broad. Yeah.
Yeah, very vague description. Okay, Matthew McConaughey. Okay, yeah.
I think that was probably one of his first roles after he transitioned from the romantic comedy circuit to more serious stuff. So there's also a historical element.
All right. So we're gonna get fat. We're gonna get fat for 100 grand.
Yes. How many people from the 100,000 will agree? This is for the victory, by the way. This is you both have 2 points, so this is very important. Who gets closer? So in Külapood style, we ask the last time we ask Ardo first. So Ardo, KFC, like Dubai, Ardo K.
In Külapood style, is the last question worth 28 points?
I mean, it doesn't matter. So sure, it's 28.
This is the tiebreak.
You are on.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
It's already you are already tied. So one of you is gonna win anyway. Someone's gonna get closer. Doesn't matter how many points there are. The points
matters
don't matter.
To me.
Okay, it's 28 points.
It matter to me, damn it.
I'll do it in Külapood style. It's 2 points.
It's it's a weird question because I know in Dubai there are a lot of rich Arab sheiks or sheiks, I think you call them.
What you get from the KFC.
And I've read that those rich sheiks go on Instagram, look at models' pages, and then message them, "Hey, do you want to come to Dubai? We'll pay you $100,000 so we can shit on your face and do other nasty shit, but you can get an Instagram picture on a boat." And if you do that, you won't have to even get fat from KFC. So I think most people will not take it. So 49% will say yes.
Okay. And Louis, now the big moment, more or
I
less.
think people would. I think people don't give a fuck. I also think people that are on the internet are already KFC eating people. I'm going to go with actual statistically, I should just say 50% because that would give me the greatest range.
Oh, you're playing the game. Ooh.
Oh, I'm playing the game, baby. I'm thinking the numbers through. You think you can't. I'm thinking steps ahead. So in that case, he said 49%. I'll say 50%.
Okay. The correct answer is 29%.
Ah, shit.
Somehow people don't want to be fat. I don't know what's
I'm going to KFC. Fuck this.
Did I win?
Ardo wins with 2 points.
I was trying to lose. Now I'm going to be fired.
We're going to both be fired because I organized it. So thank you everybody for coming to watch the last Külapood. So suddenly this gets cancelled. Everything is cancelled. Ardo, you win this time. It doesn't happen often, but hey, well done.
Not smart often, Ardo, but this one time you did it.
Yeah, a game where I actually could use logic instead of my fucking knowledge of made up Pokemon penises.
I mean, Mikael won that game by a large degree. Like Sander and Ardo had like 4 or 5 points, I think, each. Mikael had 15.
He's a closet nerd. Like he's OG gamer, Mikael. He just hides it. Like, oh, I'm Tusi oh, I'm so educated and shit with my. I know about women and shit. Like, nah. He plays games.
He's probably played the last Pokemon game because they were all from the same game. So I think he played that game, and he knew all the Pokemon.
He's attuned to the Pokeverse.
Yeah, he has. He actually has a Pokemon tattoo. He just can't see it because all the hair on his body. So
What?
That's how rumors start.
Really? Because I'm like, you just made like 1,000 young girls go. Like, Mikael's got a hidden tattoo somewhere that we can't see, and it's a Pokemon. Dang.
It's the left ass cheek.
It's also the hairier ass cheek. I would know. No. Anyway, now I haven't seen. Well, I have seen me connect. Anyway, let's move on. That wasn't even the topic. We were finishing the game, which is that other one and all that stuff. So that's actually it for the episode today. We've done almost 2 hours, and I'll do the social media part as well. But before I do that, Louis, do you have anything you wanted me to ask you, or anything you wanted to say to the public? Or
No, I'm good. Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it. I think what you guys are doing with the show is fucking fantastic. You are grinding away and doing it, and I love it. Keep on going.
Yeah, if anyone from our team is gonna hustle, it would have been me. Like
Fuck yeah.
So someone's already giving Mikael hearts. So I hope you know what you should all do. You should all message Mikael asking where is the tattoo.
Yeah, do that.
Ask him where the
Pokemon tattoo.
Yeah, where's the Pokemon tattoo?
Where's the Pokemon tattoo? Show us, Mikael. Show us.
Yeah. If he gets enough, he'll be peer pressure to actually get a Pokemon tattoo to show on social media, I think, or Patreon. I think that's
we'll Photoshop some picture of him tonight with a Pokemon tattoo.
Yeah.
We'll tattoo him. We'll brand him.
Hashtag Pokemema.
Pokemema.
We'll get it trending.
Pikachu.
Yeah, Pikachu.
Pikachu Pokemema. But yeah, well, thank you very much for coming, Louis, as well. It's great to have you on the show. It's good to do a couple of English episodes as well occasionally. We will have a guest on. on Thursday, I think. It's going to be this week. It's going to be Thursday when we have another show. We're doing 2 this week, and then we'll see you again next week. But for social media, I'm at Karl-Alari Varma. You can see that below. Twitter, Instagram, stuff like that. If you want to talk to me about anything on the show, any topics, any corrections you wish to make on all the facts I've said, please do contact me either on preferably Instagram or also you can email us at külapood@gmail.com, külapood@gmail.com. And below me, in only the physical form, but in no other form, is Ardo Asperk, at Ardo Asperk on social media. So check him out as well.
Yeah, and you can also buy my special on the new and improved Comedy Estonia web shop.
Yes.
Do that. The link for the if you can show like that, Ardo, then you can actually show to the
like that.
Like that. So that way you can see the link for the web shop as well. And it's
pod.comedyestonia.com.
Yep. What he said, and the image is too. Actually, I can see pod.comedyestonia.com. Check that out. That's because that's a good way to support comedians during this trying time, and also get some top quality comedy for yourself.
Delivered instantly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And our guest today was Louis Zezeran, on social media at Louis Zezeran as well, I believe.
Yes, you'll find me. You'll find me. You'll just search Louis.
Yeah, check him out. Also listen to his podcast, Comedy Guy. And however the sentences end on the podcast, Comedy Guy with someone. You have quite a few episodes now with a lot of interesting guests, so definitely give that a go and listen to that.
And do you have a YouTube channel also?
I do, but it's like a long, obscure URL because I don't have any subscribers yet. But just search Comedy Guy, Louis. It's hard, not that hard to find. Louis Estonia, Comedy Guy. You'll find the podcast. There's the YouTube channel where I put the full episodes to the video, and on the social medias. I'm very happy to speak with you. Maybe not Facebook, guys. I think we went through that. But the Twitter, the Instagram, let's talk.
And that's it. So this week we'll have another show on Thursday. I saw another question on chat. I'm not saying who it is yet because I'm still confirming who it is. So, but
it's a guess. Is it a comedian or not comedian? It's not Comedy Estonia.
It's not Comedy Estonia. It should be someone else from outside Comedy Estonia. And I'll put the post up on social media once I know who it is. So check Facebook, Comedy Estonia Facebook, or my own probably, but hopefully we'll share it on Comedy Estonia so everybody knows who the guest is. My shirt just changed color, and if I did that, when I did that, it actually changed color. Let's put a bit more light on. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, a long rambling goodbye, but we had a lot of stuff to go through. Oh, we do have Külapood YouTube as well, where we post up old episodes of things that you can hear as a podcast, but we have full recordings there as well because some people like to watch them on YouTube, so they are there as well. So I'm slowly loading things up. But as we talked with Ardo as well, that the editing process can be long. And when I'm converting, first of all, a 4K video down to 1080 so I can actually process it, that'll take about 8 hours, and then later on rendering it'll take another like 5 or 6 hours. Yeah, it's a longer process. And
we can't really, like, I'd like to shit on YouTubers because like, oh, you're doing like YouTube, but like respect,
Yeah,
I can never shit on YouTubers because like I know they put so much work into editing this stuff and like spend so much time.
Yeah, because
it's a terrible life.
It's we have a good friend, YouTuber, social influence, Maestro Sander Õigus, who is also having to do with all the edits and long stuff. So
yeah, people don't know the pain behind actually being a YouTuber.
Yeah,
like the computer being on the verge of crashing.
Yeah.
Taking a week to render videos.
So it's terrible. Sander was saying like his computer would die 3 times when he was processing like a video.
Yeah, that's just because the computer has to look at that content. That's why.
The computer's a food critic all of a
listen to
sudden.
him. Yeah, Jesus.
Computer's like, I hate mac and cheese. I'm gonna shut up.
Blue screen. But yeah, thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much everybody for listening. I'll see you again this week. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
And press buttons now. Stop recording. Stop streaming.
This is usually the point where we start cursing.
Yeah.